United Community Channel. This is your latest Manchester United news, and we've got plenty to talk about tonight. We're going to start with Rasmus Hojlund, and reports suggesting that his official announcement for joining Manchester United is going to be delayed by a few days, potentially putting it in jeopardy that he might not actually make any of the pre-season games. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Harry Kane, and some reports suggesting maybe he's actually going to stay at Spurs. We're going to talk about a lot of outgoings as well. Harry Maguire, Donny van de Beek, and even Brandon Williams potentially leaving. Of course, we're going to talk about central midfield as well. As usual, get your thoughts and comments into the comment section below. Let's get right into it. But yeah, guys, we're going to start, of course, with Rasmus Hojlund. And of course, you know, he is the main talking point around Manchester United at the moment. Please do smash a like on the video before we get into it. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button on the road to 4,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate your help if you can do that as well. But yeah, look, Rasmus Hojlund, of course, we know he's been doing his medical in Manchester, in Carrington, over the last day or so, yesterday as well, actually. But reports today are surfacing suggesting that the official announcement of Rasmus Hojlund's transfer to Manchester United could be delayed by another 3 days, meaning, is he going to be able to play in any of the preseason games before the start of the season? We do know Manchester United are playing on Saturday in Old Trafford against Lens, and then, of course, the game in Dublin the next day against Athletic Bilbao. And look, I mean, I think we all want this to be done. The mic, brilliant, fucking every time. Anyway, there's the mic, we're up. Sorry about that. Thanks, Oisin. Thanks, Aaron. But yeah, look, I mean, we all want this to be done as quickly as possible, don't we? And I think the main reason is to get him integrated into the squad, into the team as quickly as possible, get some game time under his belt before the start of the season. And look, these reports are not, I suppose, the most encouraging. I don't really see what the delay is. I mean, usually you can get your medical done within 24 hours, you would say. Now, we do know he was there yesterday, and reports yesterday were suggesting that the majority of it was going to be done, and then just a final few bits and pieces today. But reports today then have suggested that actually the main part of it is being done today. And of course, you know, you want to be Manchester United PR kick in. You want to be getting all of your you know, your social media videos and all of that done as well before an official announcement. I think, you know, a year now under Ten Hag, I think he hates all of this. You know, I would be very surprised if he was happy with the fact that this could potentially be delayed by a further few days. Of course, until it's officially announced, we won't see him training. We won't see him involved in, you know, in match day squad. So I think the main issue here is to get it done before the preseason games on the weekend. I mean, if it's done by, what day is today? Wednesday. So if it can be done by Friday, you would potentially hope then that he could play on Sunday. Of course, all of the Irish fans who are going to the game, me included, want him to play on Sunday, because I can't see him being involved in the squad on Saturday at Old Trafford and again the next day in Dublin. So, you know, we're probably going to see a split squad maybe. I don't know, is there going to be maybe the fringe players or some of the younger players playing on Saturday, and then maybe main senior players playing on the Sunday in Dublin? I hope that's the case. But yeah, I mean, it's coming out here from Samuel Luckhurst, and Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted as well. He said, Manchester United are aiming for the weekend to unveil Rasmus Hojlund as a new signing. Visa and contract work are being finalised. Club aiming for weekend to seal and announce it. I mean, look, just get it done, guys. Come on. It's been going on for too long now. The negotiations, the fanfare around it. Everybody just wants to see him holding up the Manchester United shirt. Now, look, he has put out a post on his Facebook page today, and this is it. Anybody on TikTok, if you want to switch over to YouTube, we're showing all of this on the screen. Link is on my homepage. Go check it out. But yeah, he has posted this picture on his Facebook page with the caption saying soon. So look, it is going to get done. There's not going to be any complications where, he doesn't sign for Manchester United, but we want it to be done as quickly as possible, don't we? Yeah, I mean, I want him to play on Sunday. I won't lie, I really want him to play on Sunday because I'm going to be at the game. But again, it goes back to what we've been saying previously. The quicker he can get integrated into the team, the quicker he can train with his teammates, get up to speed with what Erik ten Hag wants from him. Now, look, that's not going to be done in the space of, 3 days between maybe when he signs and when he might play his first preseason game. But if he can get into training, get, a good week of training before the season starts. We're not playing until Monday week. I think we're the Monday Night Football. So I think the quicker we can get him in, the better, because, obviously he's been training and playing with Atalanta in their preseason tour as well. So he's not going to be coming in unfit or anything like that. But, we want to get him in as quickly as possible, don't we? Let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Mike says, switched over from TikTok, getting silly with how long it takes Man United to announce stuff. And this is a strange one, though, I have to say, because you never really, I mean, when Mason Mount and Andre Onana done their medicals, they were basically announced the next day. So I don't really see what the delay is here. But let's hope we can get it done as quickly as possible. Oshin says, get a lav mic on your shirt. That way you won't forget it. Well, I'm after spending about €400 on this one, so I'm going to use it. Let's see. The Jamaican Samurai says, Amrabat and another striker would be a good transfer window, I think. Yeah, I agree. Aaron says, you think it could be a on-field announcement similar to Casemiro? We know it's done, but show him off. Well, I don't think so. I think the reason why that wouldn't be the case, Aaron, is because we're so desperate for a striker. We're so desperate for that number 9. We've seen over preseason the lack of goals that we scored. Now, look, again, preseason is preseason, and it's all about, getting your fitness, getting your touch back, and results are not overly important. But you could see throughout the games that we played in preseason that, chances were being created and there was nobody there to really finish them. You know what I mean? So I think the quicker we can get this done, the better, and, for everybody involved. Oshin says, is that a Ten Hag masterclass, though? Unleash him onto an unsuspecting league. You never know. You never know. And, that may be why Erik ten Hag is the manager of Manchester United. If he's deciding that this is what's going to happen, and, we're not going to give anything away with him, I don't know. But look, I think for opposition teams, going into the first game of the season, they'll have their homework done on Rasmus Hojlund, knowing that he's going to sign for Manchester United, the way he likes to play. And, they'll have some kind of idea how Erik ten Hag is potentially going to play him. But I like your thinking, though, I have to say. He also says, Wade, you got tickets for Sunday. You kept that quiet. Yeah, I've been saying that for fucking weeks. I'm buzzing for it. There's been people sending me DMs for the last few days saying, if you know of any tickets going, let me know. I don't, I have to say. So let's see. Irish lad says, well, lads, Jack, as long as Rasmus doesn't come out playing a piano. Oh my God, remember that? That was Sanchez, wasn't it? Yeah, that was embarrassing. It really was. Let's see what people on TikTok are saying here as well. Let me sort out these cameras here because they're a bit, yeah, there we go. That's better. Let's see what people are saying. Ian is in from Austin. Good to see you. Onana is there. Bobby Boy is in. Paul, thanks for the follow. James says, hope to see him Sunday. Hojlund, waste of money. 70 million for fake Haaland when we could have spent 120 on Kane. Well, we couldn't really have spent 120 on Kane, I don't think. Any word on Greenwood? Nope. Juicy says, last year they split it 50-50, good players and young lads for both games that were on the weekend. Yeah, and look, I would be happy with that. Look, I've been to Old Trafford five times last year, and I'll be there plenty of times this year again. So, but again, it's very rare that they come to well, not very rare, but well, it is rare, I suppose, given the amount of games that they play. But when they come to Ireland, you want to see some of the heavy hitters playing, don't you? Matthew is in. Evening, buddy. How are you? Good to see you, Matt. Charbel says, when will we announce Hojlund? Like we said, the reports are suggesting it's going to be in another 3 days around the weekend. So let's see. Callum says, opinions on Amrabat. Yeah, we're going to get into Amrabat now in a moment as well. Pessi is there as well. Luke says, really think this will be a good season as we got a new number 9, well needed. Is the club going to be sold? We're going to talk about the sale of the club as well, guys, in a little bit. Stick with us as well. Some updates on that. Kiefer is in as well. Good to see you. Liam, thanks for the follow. Dimitri says, brilliant post with Hasbullah. Yeah, so if anyone hasn't seen my latest TikTok, go check it out. Yeah, I enjoy doing that one, I have to say. Let's see. Football Edit says, what do you think about a 1-year contract for Johnny Evans? I wouldn't be against it. I have to say, I've said it a few times already on the channel that, I wouldn't be against Johnny Evans getting a 1-year contract, but he would be solely there as a backup, you would have to say. You know what I mean? What is he? He's 36, 37, is he? So he would be coming in as a backup, absolutely, the fourth choice. But I think it would give us a bit of, I suppose, it would take the pressure off potentially on having to keep the likes of Harry Maguire. But I do think if Harry Maguire goes, and we did sign Johnny Evans on a 1-year contract, I do think we would probably still go out and get another centre back anyway before the end of the transfer window. Charlie says, any word on the takeover? Yeah, we're going to get into that. Oshin says, thoughts on all the uproar on Onana, deservedly bollocking Maguire. Yeah, so let's talk about that really quick, because I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you mentioned it, we'll talk about it. Obviously, one of the biggest talking points of pre-season was Andre Onana coming out and bollocking Harry Maguire, and a lot of it. I mean, it's such, it's such wokeness out of so many outlets saying it's the disgrace and it's bullying and all of this kind of nonsense. Anybody that played or has played or is currently still playing the game will understand that. These things happen on a football pitch. It's nothing personal. I've had like Ricey that comes on the channel with me, for example. We played together for 10 years, and we bollocked each other every single game, but we still would go and have a pint, after a match or whatever it may be. I don't see the big deal in it at all, I have to say. I think it's sensationalism when it comes to the journalism that's been put out about it. It's just lazy more than anything else. I have no problem with Andre Onana coming out and bollocking players. I really don't, because it means that he's got standards. He's the boss, as he's the goalkeeper is the only player that can see everything on the field, so he's entitled to be given out to his defense if he wants. Now, you don't want him doing it for no reason. Sometimes, I remember with Peter Schmeichel, and obviously I was only young when he played for United, but, looking back on it and I always look back on highlights and, maybe I have got the 99 season DVD and all that kind of stuff. And there was times where you go, oh, lad, just give it a rest. I mean, a lad won a header from a corner, but you had a defender challenging him and put him off, but yet you're still getting nagged over it. So there can be ways and means to do things, but I'm all for it. I think it sets standards within the team, and it means that we've got a real character of a goalkeeper. I love David De Gea as a goalkeeper, I have to say, but you would have never, ever seen him do that, and so I'm all for it, I have to say. Dan says, do you think Hannibal has done enough to secure a position on the team? I mean, it's going to be very challenging to get into that midfield, especially if we go out and sign a Hannibal, an Amrabat. So you're going to have two places for the defensive midfield position. Kobe Mainoo there as well. You're going to have, Ericsson and Mason Mount that can play in the 8. You're also going to have Ericsson, Mount, and Bruno that can play in the 10 as well. So that's down to Erik ten Hag. Look, you always want to see, young players and academy graduates getting a chance within the first team. But Ten Hag sees them day in, day out, week in, week out. He's going to know better than we do what is more beneficial for Hannibal. He could go out and play 45 games next season with a championship club. Or he could stay at Manchester United and play less than 10 and maybe play in the reserves and stuff like that. So there has to be a give and take as well. And depending on the character of the player and depending on the quality of the player, he might be lacking maybe in physicality, for example. We've seen with Ahmad, very, very slight player, and he went and played in the championship, and that will toughen you up. So maybe that could be an option for Hannibal as well. So I'll go with the manager on that one. He looks like a strong chap, says Aaron. He also says about Onana, he loves it, shows he is not scared. Keeper needs to be vocal. Edwin and Peter were vocal and didn't care who they shouted at. Yep, there we go. Right, guys, let's move it on and let's talk about this guy, Harry Kane. So, look, as we know, at the start of the transfer, and I'm not going to dwell on this too much because it's a very thin story, but reports are suggesting over the last day or two that Harry Kane could potentially stay at Spurs this year to leave on a free next summer. The more this is going on, I mean, I think Spurs want to sell, Bayern Munich want to buy. I can't see why it hasn't been done yet. Now, I did also hear that Harry Kane's wage demands are astronomical, 300,000 plus, and it's very rare that Bayern Munich give that kind of money to players. Now, you could understand why you would give Harry Kane that type of money. But let's go down through the report here. Let's see, where do we start it from? Where was it? Yeah, so here we go. However, the Germans are still short of Spurs' valuation of Kane. So they're obviously not looking to spend the full 100 million that Spurs are demanding. And he only has 1 year left on his current deal. The package would see Kane become Bayern's highest paid player, and he is said to be open to a move. But according to Sky Sports, a deal will need to be done before the start of the Premier League season if the striker is to make the switch. Now, the start of the Premier League season is a week from Friday. Okay, now that doesn't leave you a lot of time. It really, really doesn't. Reports on Sky Sports, or reporters on Sky Sports saying, I think he feels out of respect for Tottenham and also the new manager, Postecoglou. It would be unfair for him to leave once the season has started. It's almost a deadline of sorting out Kane's future by the first game of the season. Otherwise, he stays, says Carve Solokal. So, look, I mean, I can understand where these reports are coming from in relation to Harry Kane. If you were a Spurs fan, okay, and I think I've heard it an awful lot throughout the summer on some of the news outlets. Like you'd listen to Spurs fans on TalkSport, for example, and at the start of the transfer window, the majority of the fans are resigned to the fact that Harry Kane is going to leave this summer, and the majority of them were saying, "Look, just get rid of him now and give us the." Whatever it is, the 80 or 90 million that we're going to get for him. And we have the whole summer to go and find a replacement and reinvest that 80 or 90 or 100 million, whatever it may be. Now, if you're selling Harry Kane on transfer deadline day, you do not get a replacement. It's simple as that. You know, Spurs haven't gone out and bought a striker. This would be similar to what I've said with Arsenal and Declan Rice and West Ham in particular. I said that I thought West Ham should have filled the Declan Rice position before they sold him, because we see now with West Ham trying to buy players, they haven't signed anybody in this window yet because everybody knows they've got 105 million in their back pocket. And Manchester United are one of them teams, and they're demanding, 40 million for Scott McTominay or 30 million for Harry Maguire, whatever it may be. And West Ham are probably not willing to meet these, I suppose, demands. I think it's going to be similar with Spurs. If they sell Harry Kane in the next week to Bayern Munich and they go and try and replace him, they're going to have to be willing to spend big because everybody will know that they have that money. So it's a kind of a catch-22 with it, you would have to say. There's still a small part of me that thinks Harry Kane could end up a Manchester United player. Not maybe in this window, but in next summer or even in January, you could suspect. I think January would probably be quite difficult. But Harry Kane, I'm getting the sense from all of this that Harry Kane moving to Bayern Munich is because he wants to leave Spurs more so than he actually wants to sign for Bayern Munich. I think given the option, if Harry Kane had Bayern Munich and Manchester United both in for him at the same time, both bids accepted, I think he chooses Manchester United over Bayern Munich. And it all comes down to this goal-scoring record that he potentially could break, the Alan Shearer record. I think he would break it if he stayed in the Premier League. But I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion that this story isn't over yet. I really don't. If he stays at Spurs, and let me say this right now, I want him to stay at Spurs, because if he stays at Spurs, I think it's pretty sewn on that we get Harry Kane on a free next summer. I really do. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't. We've got Rasmus Hojlund. We've got the young 20-year-old who's going to develop over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Why not go out and get Harry Kane next summer on a 3-year deal, and you have your 30-goal-a-season striker? I mean, now look, of course, he would be a year older. He would be 31 by the time the season starts next year. But, I mean, a 31-year-old Harry Kane for a couple of seasons on a free, I mean, whatever about spending 100 million on a 30-year-old, if you're getting a 31-year-old for free next summer, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And yeah, I have a sneaky suspicion. I've always said it, from anybody who's watched the channel for a long time, I've always said I see Harry Kane wearing a Manchester United jersey. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the announcement is a few days away from him joining Bayern Munich. I don't know. But yeah, watch this space, as they say. But yeah, look, we're going to move on, guys, to potential outgoings. But let me go through some comments here first. Still thinking United are in for a shout for Kane. It will go down to the last day of the season, says Irish lad. Aaron says, surely Spurs want to get it done if he is to go. They need to spend the money. Imagine going into the season with Richarlison as your main man. That would be a nightmare. Oshin says, Kane won't push a move. He had a goody two-shoes personality in the press, but this shows a severe lack of ambition besides the Premier League goal stats. Yeah, and look, I suppose the fact that he's English captain as well is probably coming into this, and you have to be squeaky clean and all of that kind of stuff as well. Whereas, you know, Wayne Rooney basically told England fans to fuck off one day. So, you know what I mean? Oshin also says West Ham aren't used to having that kind of money, so they're scared to spend it. Yeah, that could be the case as well. He also says, if Kane goes on a free next summer, it'll be a bidding war in wages. Would we be able to afford it? Well, you would hope that we would have new owners by next summer, so you would never count Manchester United out in terms of giving high wages. Now, if you're going to be saving 100 million on a transfer fee, you can afford to give higher wages, you know. But I mean, go back to what we've said previously. If Harry Kane is on a free next summer, City won't buy him because Haaland is there. Liverpool spend 100 million on Nunez. He won't go to Chelsea. He won't go to Arsenal. I don't think he'd go to Newcastle. Well, depending on how they get on this season. I still think United could be the main draw for Harry Kane, I have to say. Aaron says, if we finish top 3 this season without Kane, he will be jumping for the chance to join us next season. He could push us from 3rd to challenging. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Kane wouldn't get a game at United now with Rasmus at the club. I don't know about that. Let's see what people on TikTok are saying here. Let's see. Mike says, take him on a free, but not for 100 million. Liam says, thoughts on Greenwood? Should he stay or go? Yeah, we spoke about that loads the other day. User says, close your eyes and you can just picture Ruby Walsh talking. Really? Ruby Walsh? All right. Been called worse. Dean, thanks for the follow. Jock is in as well. Good to see you. David says, till they get lashed in the first 3 games. Yeah, whatever. Thomas says, how much did it cost for your studio setup? Camera is €800. The mic is 300. The lights are 200. Laptop is about $1,000, but I've had that for a few years. Second monitor was 70. Yeah, so a couple of grand, I would say, but not all in one. I've been doing it, you know, consistently over the last while as well. So yeah. Kane is an Arsenal fan, says David. Darren says, will our new forward play Sunday? So yeah, we were just speaking about it, Darren. We would hope it's done by then, but yeah, it's going to be tight. But again, I mean, for any Irish fans that are going to the game on Sunday, it's probably good news because it means he will more than likely play on the Sunday rather than the Saturday in Old Trafford. So you never know. We might get to see his debut. So hopefully. Jade says, am I the only one that doesn't think Kane is a good fit for United? You're probably not the only one, Jade, but you're in a small minority, I would say. But yeah, of course, everybody, you know, is entitled to their opinions. Absolutely. Right. Let's move it on. And let's talk about central midfield. And of course, this guy, Amrabat. Manchester United are looking to sign another midfielder. There have been reports suggesting that it's going to be, some outgoings. Not necessarily before we sign him, but we're going to have to fund this, I suppose, purchase of Amrabat with the sale of the likes of Donny van de Beek and Fred, for example. So Manchester United target's agent has travelled to Manchester with a bid expected imminently. So reports are suggesting that Manchester United are ready to step up their interest in Fiorentina's midfielder Sofyan Amrabat, and his agent is travelling to Manchester for talks. Amrabat enjoyed, blah, blah, blah. He's heavily been linked to the Premier League. Football Insider are reporting that Amrabat's agents have travelled to Manchester ahead of a proposed move to United. The report adds a bid is expected to be lodged immediately, with the asking price set to be around 30 million. Look, we do know that Manchester United don't want to spend 30 million on Amrabat. It's going to be United. It's probably going to be one of them, I suppose, negotiations where United will go low, they'll go high. We'll probably end up paying 25 million for him, maybe with some add-ons included as well, performance-based add-ons, whatever it may be. Now, Sofyan Amrabat has supposedly said to Fiorentina that he does want to leave this summer. He does not want to stay at the club next year. He knows Manchester United are interested. He wants to leave and he wants to go to Manchester United, which is great. And we spoke about this last week, that Manchester United are now attracting players that want to sign for Manchester United, which is great. And I got a lot of flack from opposition fans in the chat saying, no, it's only because United are, throwing silly wages at them and this and that and the other. United you'll always get good wages at United. That's, besides the point. But we're starting to see players wanting to come and play for Erik ten Hag and be involved in the project. We're in the Champions League. We've seen what we've done last year, 2 finals. So I think that is the main reason why people and players are wanting to sign for Manchester United. Because look, it's there's nothing like a bit of positivity around your club to attract players. When you're challenging for trophies, when you've got a good manager that, current players, and there hasn't been a bad word from a player besides Cristiano Ronaldo about Erik ten Hag. And other players that are being linked with Manchester United are picking up on that. You're hearing, Marcus Rashford coming out and saying that he was potentially thinking about leaving Manchester United until Erik ten Hag came along and all of that. And you're listening to Martinez, and how great of a manager he was or he is, and Onana saying it as well. And Amrabat has played for Erik ten Hag as well, for Utrecht. So he knows what's going on and he knows the reasons why he wants to play for Erik ten Hag again. And, these are the kind of snippets of information and sound bites that you do want to be hearing as a Manchester United fan, that players want to sign for us again. We've seen it with Liverpool, when Jurgen Klopp, the first couple of years of Jurgen Klopp's tenure, and we know Pep Guardiola has the draw anyway. You know what I mean? Players want to play for Guardiola. We've seen with Klopp in his first couple of years at Liverpool that players wanted to sign for Liverpool because of Jurgen Klopp, because, he's a great manager, and, he plays a certain style of football and this and that and the other. Liverpool won fuck all for the first couple of years that Klopp was there, but yet players wanted to sign for Liverpool because of Klopp. And I think we're seeing something similar with Erik ten Hag, albeit Erik ten Hag won a trophy in his first season and we're in the Champions League next year. So I think it's a very similar kind of situation that we're having, and I'm all for it. I really, really am, I have to say. Let's see. Jock says, got to be honest, you bring Kane in, we're challenging instantly. Yeah, I agree. Owen says, news on Hojlund. Yeah, so we just mentioned it on delay in the announcement, supposedly. It's supposedly going to be announced and completed by the weekend. So you would hope maybe that he's going to be in the squad on Sunday for Dublin. Oshin says, is your Sir Matt sign falling down? No, it's not. So this is one thing that annoys me as well. So basically, my camera is at a slight angle to the back wall. There's nothing I can do about it because where my desk is set up, I don't want the sidewall coming in on the shot. So look, watch it. Let me just show you. So if I do that, right? If I straighten up the camera, I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyway, watch. I'll get the sidewall in there. So I'm trying to keep the sidewall cut out. Yeah, so basically there's the camera is not completely flush with the wall. So that's why it looks like there's a bit of a dip, but there's not. It's just not flush with the wall. So there we go. But anyway, we're not on Super Sunday here, and we're grand. Aaron says, must there's something for Eric Ten Hag as manager that so many players that have played for him before are signing. Katie says, hey, you cover the protest. Yeah, so I haven't really been looking into the protest yet. I don't know what's been planned for it next week. I don't know if there is a planned protest for the start of United's first game. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Let's see what people are saying on TikTok here. Finn says, evening all, might have missed this, but what do you all think about the rumours Glazers pausing the sale? We're going to talk about that now in a moment. SA says, Fred started to show his potential. Season just gone. His work rate is incredible. Yeah, and look, I said at the start of last year that I thought Fred was going to be one of the players that does improve under Ten Hag, and he did. But Fred is the type of player that he will have an unbelievable game. He could have an unbelievable first half and then have the worst second half of his life. That's the way it goes. Fred, as much as I love Fred and, you know, the big smile on his face, and he's been a good servant for Manchester United, we're not going to win a league with Fred. So we again, I said this previously on previous shows that we have to get away from this sentimentality stuff that if a player is not good enough for Manchester United, you thank him for his service and you move him on and we get some money in for him. Or else we're just going to continue to have players walk out the door for free, you know. Thomas says, Onana annoyed me with that reaction the other day. He didn't annoy me. I loved it. Where did you get the jerseys? Yeah, so the jerseys, guys, are from thekitman.eu. That's the name of the website, thekitman.eu. And you can also get him on Instagram by the same name. He sponsored a couple of the preseason watch-alongs as well, so go check him out. Let's see. Plus, the mistake leading to the goal was Maguire's mistake. Blah, blah, blah. Lads are having a chat to one another there. How do you think we get on in the Premier League this year? Yeah, well, I think a successful season for United has to be top four. You know, I would love to improve on what we done last year. You know, obviously finishing third, it would be great to, you know, put a challenge on City in some way, shape, or form, or whoever it is that's going to be up there. You would expect it's going to be City, but yeah, I mean, look, it's a process, and I sounded like Eric Ten Hag there. If I put on a Dutch accent, I would have sounded like him. But yeah, so look, we've got to be patient. I think another top four finish and another couple of trophies under the belt, I would be happy, and a good run in the Champions League as well. So yeah. Let's see. Paul says, seen Mbappe said he will go to Chelsea for one season. If we sign him, it's a joke. Getting used for a season and up and go to Madrid. Yeah, I think I would stay away from Mbappe for that reason alone. I think it would just throw too many things up in the air. But I suppose it would be great for 1 year. But if you're talking about having long-term stability within your team, I don't. And I think that's what probably Pochettino is going to be looking for. Twig says, just brought in the chickens in and noticed the stream. How's it going? All good, Twigs. DJ's in. Everybody, I want you to get into the chat and say congratulations to DJ. DJ was the winner of our competition for the PS5. He won it as well. So the prize money has been sent to him. So he's going to go and get it. So everybody drop it into the chat. Congratulations to him. He's the winner of the PS5 as well. We're going to be running another competition. It's going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. I'm not doing something as big as the PS5 this time because I kind of bit off more than I could chew, if I can say that. So basically, the money raised in the raffle didn't cover the actual cost of the PS5, so it came out of my pocket. So we're going to be doing some smaller giveaways, maybe some replica jerseys and stuff like that as well throughout the season. So keep an eye on that as well. So yeah, anyway, let's move it on, guys, and let's talk about outgoings. And look, we know that Harry Maguire is subject to requirements at Manchester United this summer. Erik ten Hag would be happy to see him go, and well, that sounds a bit harsh, but you know, happy to sell him if that is going to be the case. Reports have been surfacing in the last day or so as well, coming from the ex-West Ham employee on Twitter, who's been pretty spot on in terms of his content and what his know-how about West Ham. That supposedly David Moyes is going to be going back in and going to test the waters with another bid for Harry Maguire before the end of the window. There has been reports suggesting that Everton are now in the race for him as well and would be interested in signing him. Let's have a look down here and see what we see. Where does it say? I could potentially have the wrong one up. Yeah, so Tottenham, Everton, and Chelsea have all been linked with moves for Maguire on top of West Ham. As far as West Ham are concerned, I don't think they will find a better centre-back than Maguire, blah, blah, blah. The issue is his wages. He earns 190 grand a week at United. Yeah, so that's going to be the issue there. So obviously, West Ham are playing hardball. Everybody knows, like we mentioned already, that they've got this big 105 million pound wallet in their back pocket. So I think United are well within their rights. And I don't think Erik ten Hag would be too disappointed if Harry Maguire was at the club for another year. I don't think he would be. I think he's made himself quite clear now that Harry Maguire is going to be a backup. He is not going to be first choice. You know, he's just not good enough, you know. So I think he would be happy to keep him and play him in some of maybe the early rounds of the FA Cup, maybe some of the Carabao Cup games, all of that kind of stuff. If he does stay, he would be a backup. But again, we go back to what we've been saying, that I think the reason why the majority of I just have to say this before I go any further. Some of the hate that Maguire has been getting off Manchester United fans is pretty fucking disgusting, I have to say. I seen someone threw a piece of paper at me, went over and picked it up, and supposedly it said, "Get out of the club, you're not wanted," or something like that. It's disgraceful. Harry Maguire has been nothing but professional as a Manchester United player. He really has. He hasn't been good enough. We can all see that, and I'm sure he understands that as well. But some of the hate that he's been getting over the last few weeks has been poor. And look, every club have these idiots, you know, that will shout and roar and say, "Get out, you're not good enough. We don't want you here," and all of that. If he decides to stay at the club, okay, he stays at the club. He will be a backup. He will struggle to get game time, and we just have to deal with that. The one reason that the majority of the sane Manchester United fans, or the fans with brains in their head, the reason why they want Maguire to go is because we want to reinvest the money we get for him into rebuilding the squad. And the more we can do that, the quicker we can have a finished Erik ten Hag squad, if that makes sense. So for that reason, I do think he should go. But if he stays, okay, he stays. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Ballon d'Or King, thanks for the gift. Much appreciated. So yeah, look, I do think he will probably go before the end of the transfer window. Again, I go back and say the sooner we can get rid of him, the better. Not because I dislike him or anything, but because we want to have time to reinvest that money back into the squad before the transfer window ends. So yeah, let's move it on to... Oh, are you going to bed? Right, come on in and say goodnight to everybody. You're making a habit of this, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, all right. At least you realise you are. Now, there you are, look. On the screen. Say hi.
Hiya.
Hiya. Now say good night.
Good night.
Say United.
Good night.
Good girl. Go on, I'll see you in the morning, all right? Good night. Run along. Give Daddy a hug?
Yeah.
Can I have a hug?
Yeah.
All right, go on. Give me a big hug then. Oh, you're the best girl for hugs, aren't you?
Okay.
A kiss. Mwah. Good job. See you later.
Your hair's yeah, that's
Now.
nice.
So yeah, anyway, United Family Channel. Good night. So anyway, look, let's move it on. We're talking about outgoings. Let's talk about Donny next. And look, we do know that Donny is subject to requirements as well at Manchester United. I can see him leaving, I have to say. again, I don't see the reason why we're delaying so much. Now, we do know that Real Sociedad are in for him. There's been talks about potentially a loan move. That doesn't really cut the mustard for Manchester United, you would have to say. A loan move for any player out of Manchester United who is not in Eric Ten Hag's plans is not viable really this summer, because you might as well just keep him. The majority of these loan deals now, I suppose the loan club don't tend to pay a lot of the wages. So it's basically no advantage to Manchester United loaning someone like Donny van de Beek out if he's not in the manager's plans for the future. I think, if you were to loan a player out and if Donny burned it up in Sociedad, are we still going to take him back next season? Because we're going to be buying a couple of midfielders this summer. We've got one in the door already. We're potentially going to be getting another one. I think it's a shame for Donny, I have to say. I mean, I don't think there is a United fan that probably has a bad word to say about Donny van de Beek. I think he was bought for the wrong reasons. I think he was bought without Solskjaer even wanting him. I don't think he was treated right by Solskjaer either. Of course, the injury last season didn't help either. He looked like a guy that was just so lacking in confidence due to what happened under Solskjaer and the lack of game time he was getting. And, he couldn't string maybe 5 or 6 games starting appearances together and stuff like that. I mean, if we could get 25 million for Donny van de Beek, happy days. Again, let's get over the sentimentality aspect of it, move him on as quickly as possible and reinvest the money into the squad. Because, like we've said with the likes of Amrabat, if we are to go out and get him, it's more than likely going to be funded by sales, because we are teetering on the brink of FFP. Now, Laurie Whitwell, we mentioned last week, did say in The Athletic that I suppose the business year, I think, ends for FFP in March. So we still do have the January transfer window to make some sales to balance out the books as well. But I think Donny van de Beek will go again in the summer. Like if we start the season, or if the transfer window closes and we've still got Donny van de Beek, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Brandon Williams, these types of players, all of them, then I'd be disappointed. I'll go, well, what in the name of God are you doing? We have to be able to move players on. And we mentioned the report, was it 2 weeks ago, where Manchester United have, is it something like 100 million we've got in sales in the last 10 years from players, where the likes of Chelsea have got upwards of 70 million or 700 million. So we need to get better at selling players. That's my point. And look, I do like the way Manchester United are digging their heels in this transfer window. Like, some of the offers that have come in have been downright disrespectful. We got an offer for 5 million for Fred. Now we're probably going to let him go for about 13, but 5 million is, I mean, United would spend that in a day in I don't know, Warren the grass at Old Trafford. So I don't know. Look, I'm happy that we're digging our heels in and we're not being taken advantage of, which was common practice for the last 10 years, you would say, since Ferguson and David Gill and all these type of people left the Woodward era, you would say. 25 million for Donny van de Beek, I would be happy. If we could get 30 million for Harry Maguire, brilliant. And then if Scott McTominay was to go for 35, then all of a sudden, then you're talking about 90 million that you've got in. So you could potentially then go out and get another player before the transfer window ends. But we need to sell, and we need to sell as quickly as possible. Let's see. Oshin is saying, if we get 25 mil for Donny, it's great business. I agree. Aaron says, shame for Donny. It just didn't work for him. Could see him shining at other teams. Twig says, if I type in United, the first thing that comes up in the suggested words is family and then channel. Owen says, I would have liked to see Donny do well. Yeah, I think everyone would have, to be honest. Oshin says, the game in the Prem was just too fast for him. Slower league would suit him. Twig says, I think he doesn't try enough. He's seen 4 managers and only Carrick tried him. Definitely something going on inside the club. Jock says, what was your thoughts on Brandon's performance the last night? I haven't really wanted him here, but I thought he worked hard last few bits. Good play. Yeah, look, I've always had a soft spot for Brandon Williams because he loves a good tackle. And I like that in the fullback. You know, I was a fullback myself and I loved a good tackle. So when I see that, it warms me up a little bit. Now, look, I think it's quite clear that he's not up to the standards of Manchester United. I don't understand why he's persisted as a left back because he's right footed. I don't understand when all of the you know, the kind of, oh, we could be selling Wan-Bissaka. I don't know if Delors is good enough. Right back is a really, really important position for Ten Hag to go out and buy. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he did in the background say, look, I want to be a right full. You know, I don't want to be a left back. Just put me over. I don't see what the reason was for it. But I think now with Delors and Wan-Bissaka this season, right back is pretty much sewn up. I think left back, then we've got Malacia. We've got Luke Shaw. You know, even at right back, Lindelof can play there as well, you know. So I think Brandon Williams probably will go. And brilliant, let's get on to it. Leeds United have targeted him. The rising prospect, Brandon Williams, I don't know what that's all about. So facing fierce challenges of the Premier League, Leeds United aim to fortify their ranks by securing the services of Brandon Williams. The club recognises the significant potential in the 22-year-old fullback, whose productive pre-season is drawing admiration despite his limited opportunities at Old Trafford. So look, I think it doesn't mention a price for Brandon Williams. I don't know, would you get 22-year-old, would you get 15 million? Would probably be a bit too ambitious, would it, to be looking for him? But look, I think he will probably go. I don't want to dwell on it too much, to be quite honest with you. I do like him. I love his desire. I love his fire, the spirit, all that kind of stuff. But I think his quality, he's not going to get in ahead of Luke Shaw. And he's probably not going to get in ahead of the likes of Wan-Bissaka or Delors either. But yeah, anyway, we're going to finish up, guys, with the sale of Manchester United. And we did hear reports yesterday suggesting that the actual sale process was on pause because the Glazers are potentially thinking about not selling, the likes of the Champions League format changing, new deal with Adidas, all of this kind of stuff, that the revenue and the price of the club will increase over the next few years. It has been debunked. It's coming out from Mike Keegan, who is saying that concerns had been raised that the Man United sale process might be paused to allow the Glazers to reassess their options. However, the current situation is that discussions are continuing with a number of groups with a view to a full sale or partial investment. Now, that partial investment worries me, and I think it worries every Manchester United fan, because that means the Glazers stay. You know what I mean? This is what we want. We want full sale, you know. So, it also goes on to say that there remains a confidence among some close to Sheikh Jassim bid that Manchester United, for Manchester United, that he will prevail. However, neither group is thought to have got close to the $6 billion that the Glazers are reportedly seeking. So basically, it's an update with no real update. You know, I think we're very quick to jump on any type of sale news, you know, and go, oh, here we go. Yes, lovely, nice one. Or, oh no, they're not selling now. Basically, there's been no update since March. Is that, or was it April? I think it was April when Sheikh Jassim put in his final bid, take it or leave it. Now, he didn't set a deadline on, wanting to hear back from the Glazers. So we don't really have an update on the takeover. We really don't. We all wanted to be sold. We all wanted full sale. But again, these kind of news stories they're basically just regurgitating news that we already know and just putting it on a different spin. You know, when the report came out yesterday that it might be on hold, you know, you're talking now again. Look, Mike Keegan, it's the Daily Mail we're talking about, so it's not the most reliable of sources. But again, we just talk about the news here, so everybody knows in here that we're just talking about. We're not making up the news here. It's just news, and it doesn't mean that it's true. But reports suggested in America that once the team was home from preseason, that there was going to be, and that was coming from Sky Sports actually, that when Manchester United returned home from the tour that there was going to be a significant update. We then heard that it was going to be paused. We're now hearing that it's not going to be paused. And these are all coming from different outlets. So each outlet is going, right, well, what did the last one say? But that one said it's paused, right? Okay, well, we'll just say that's not paused and we'll get a story out of that. And we'll sell a couple of 1,000 more newspapers or whatever it might be. So look, we do have to take all of this with a pinch of salt, we have to say. So don't read into it too much. That's all I will say. But let's keep hoping and praying that it'll get done. Let's see what people are saying here. Twigs, come on, man. Twigs, come on. I'm going to put that on the screen. Come on. These are getting worse and worse. Trying to get me to say names. They're getting worse and worse, man. Come on. Come on. Owen says they just, Oshin is saying Glazer's out and fully out. Owen says they just recycle old news. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron says Bex apparently would love a role at United as long as the Glazers sell. He ended with, let's see what happens in the next few weeks or months. Chris says hashtag Glazers out. And he also says, I don't think Adidas does the deal they do with thinking a full sale is going to happen. Well, I would be probably, there's an argument of saying the opposite as well, Chris. Like, if you were Adidas, let me just read your comment again to make sure I get it right. I don't think Adidas does the deal they do with thinking a full sale is going to happen. I would probably be thinking the opposite. I think Adidas could potentially do a deal like that, knowing that a full sale might happen and that there's going to be a lot more positivity around the club. There's going to be a cash infusion. More people are going to, be back supporting United, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's arguments for both. You've left me with no option. I've tried everything. You certainly have. Guys, look, we're going to leave it there. I do appreciate everybody watching. Please do hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please do hit the subscribe button. The lunchtime news shows that I record, I'm getting great feedback on them as well. So I'm going to continue to do them. So make sure you watch them. They go up at 1 p.m. every day. Every weekday. So keep an eye out for them every day. Just hit the bell notification. You'll get notified. So yeah, please do hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the follow button if you're watching on TikTok as well. We're closing in on 40,000 followers as well, so I really do appreciate it. Congratulations to DJ, the winner of the PS5. Congratulations to him, all sorted with that as well. I'm going to be doing another raffle in maybe a week or so. It won't be as big as a PS5 because I bit off more than I could chew. We'll do something smaller like a jersey or I don't know if I can get my hands on some match tickets or something. We'll do something like that. So make sure you're watching, guys. I appreciate it. What day is today? Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll have my lunchtime news show up at 1 o'clock. Just a quick snippet of all the news. And then, of course, we'll be back again tomorrow night from 7:30. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Until tomorrow, stay safe, and I'll chat to you soon. Take it easy.